Hello. Testing. I swapped like the fluffy bit on the microphone because I used this one last video and that audio was ass. So I'm trying this and hopefully it's a bit better. I'm gonna try and wear my microphone like this and we're gonna see how it goes. Okay. Hey guys, my name is May and today I thought it'd be really cool to look back on 5 years of having my Traveller's Notebook. I got my Traveller's Notebook in April of 2021, I believe, so I was 17 years old. I'm now 22. This Traveller's Notebook has seen me through so many important parts of my life, so many trials and tribulations, and so many proud moments and successes. I had a very strong idea of how I wanted to use this Traveller's Notebook when I first purchased it, and it has definitely lived up to my expectations. There are some things that didn't quite go the way that I thought that they would, but overall I'm really happy with my purchase, and I thought it would be really beneficial to talk about it today, go through, show you what's worked, what hasn't worked, show you how it ages over 5 years, and that way if you were considering purchasing one, you'd sort of know what to expect. So if you're new here, I'm a proud mother to a Chic Sparrow Travellers Notebook. This is the size A5, and it is I don't know if you call it like the model or the make, but it's Snark. It's from the Lewis Carroll collection that they did a few years ago. This was named after the poem that Lewis Carroll wrote, The Hunting of the Snark. It's now one of my favorite poems, and I thought I would keep the name on, so I call this notebook Snark, and I love it so much. I can't remember the exact price that I paid for this notebook, but I would say it was around $400 to $500 AUD. I want to say about 100 of that was shipping. They do make Chic Sparrows in America, and I had to get it shipped over to Melbourne, but I'm very pleased to say it has more than made its money's worth. I am so happy that I invested into this. It has lasted so long. It's held up perfectly. I think that it was more than worth the money, and I'm so glad that I made the investment. With that being said, let's do some comparisons to what it looked like when I got it and what it looks like now. So I'm going to put on screen some clips from my Snark video that I made when I first got it. I was very excited. As you can see, it was a beautiful light blue. It was very clean. There were a few scratches, which I'll get into later, but overall, yeah, it just looked beautiful. And I would say the Snark still looks beautiful. It might not to some of you, which is understandable, but I still love it. So this is what it looks like now. As you can see, it's a very different blue to what it was. It has a few marks around the side, especially here. So this is where it's mostly been bumping up against things. Lots of scratches, lots of marks. You might notice that the elastic on the front has definitely drooped. This, however, is something that is very easily fixable. I can tighten the elastic myself or replace it. It's very easy. I'm just lazy and I haven't done it. But yeah, overall it's held up so well. I tried to go and find a stitch that had come loose or something like that, and I couldn't. Like, it's all intact. And this is coming from someone who is very clumsy. I drop stuff all the time. I'm very rough with my belongings, and it's still held up completely fine. One thing I'll say that I wasn't expecting was you can definitely see these shapes here. Now, the thing about my Traveller's Notebook is I got it with the card holders on the inside. I wanted to use Snark as not only my journal but also my wallet, which I did for many years, and so I have some cards in the front here, but I was not expecting it to show up on the front as clearly. I've come to terms with this. I don't really care that much, but I think if you were looking at something like this, it would be something to keep in mind. Again, I don't really care, I don't mind, so I still keep my cards in here. I did find that even if I wanted to keep 2 or 3 cards in here, so that it wouldn't make much of an indentation, the cards fall out really easily. So that's why I've had to like pack the cards in. So yeah, I'd say it was a combo of user error, but also something that I wasn't expecting was this to show up a lot. I think I could quite easily take the cards out and these marks would probably disappear or get covered over time. But again, it's not something I'm super duper bothered about. But yeah, this is the other side. I still think it looks so cool. I don't know if you can see the pen loop has a bit of wear and tear on it. It's still like stuck completely. I don't mean that it's coming loose, but it definitely has some discoloration to it around the sides. Something about Chic Sparrow is they're pretty transparent about how the leather will age. I remember seeing all of this when I was first researching. They have different notebooks, different leathers that you can get, and they will age in the sun differently. They will age over time differently. They will scratch differently. So depending on the effect you want, you can order a notebook in different stuff. So I knew going into it that the notebook would definitely get a lot of wear and tear. I didn't expect it to scratch as easily as it did. I remember in the video I first made, there were scratches immediately as soon as I got it out of the box. That didn't come with scratches on it, but as soon as I started handling it, it was very easily to obtain those scratches. Again, I'm someone that's very heavy-handed, I'm very clumsy, so This isn't something that I'm easily bothered by. As you can see, there have been a lot of scratches obtained over the years. This is something that I think adds to the look, adds to the well-worn appearance. It doesn't bother me personally, but if that's something that might bother you, I would consider that. That being said, I'm not very educated in the world of leather. It might be something I could fix and clean myself. I just haven't researched it, so please take this with a grain of salt. So yeah, some modifications that I have made to Snark. As you can see, I've added these charms at the front. I've had these since I got it. I haven't taken them off or anything. Unfortunately, they do occasionally catch on things and pull at the elastic, which I think has like contributed to the loosening of it. But again, that's user error. Just something to keep in mind if you were considering doing the same thing. I have also found that depending on the thickness of the books that I'm using, I might need to have an insert in. So this is something that I made to sort of pad out the notebook, because sometimes I found when I would put the notebooks in and close it, it would be really loose and I wouldn't quite be able to hold it all together. So I found having this crocheted insert on the inside has really helped bulk it out a little bit and make everything in there a bit more secure. It protects the notebooks a bit more. I'm going to take this apart and show you how it works. So basically you get these little elastics in your notebook, and they go on the inside cover of the notebooks, and you take them out like so. Oh. Something to be mindful with these elastics is they can be quite tough on the outsides of your journal. Most of the time this is fine, like it's really not that noticeable. I've had my Leuchtturm in here for maybe going on 3 years now, and there's a bit of wear and tear on the sides, but that's to be expected. This notebook I've only had in there for a week and it's already started wearing, but that's because this is an abnormally thin cover on a notebook. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind when you're considering which notebooks to place in here. So these are the elastics, and I just slipped it in behind, so it's quite easy to take in and out. This is what it looks like outside of the notebook. If you were interested in making one yourself, it's super easy. You just crochet something in a rectangle shape. As I was doing it, I was constantly holding it up to Snark to try and measure it. I did make the job a little bit harder for myself because I decided to do a circle pattern that like finished off as a square, so that was a bit of a mindfuck, but we got there in the end. It's a little bit wonky. It's definitely not perfect, but I think it does the job. And in case you were curious, this is what it looks like without any notebooks in it. It's perfectly flat. The elastic's a bit springy in that, but again, this is something that I could easily replace myself. So the reason that I got Snark in the first place was because I kept having this dilemma with my journals. I wanted somewhere that I could journal and do my bullet journal all in the same place. I wanted somewhere for stream of conscious writing as well as planning and keeping my life in check. I had tried to do this all in the same notebook, but I just found it really tricky to balance, like it wasn't working. And so by getting Snark, I solved this problem. Basically, I'm able to put my bullet journal and my journal in the one book. When I finish my journal, I can change it for something else. When I finish my bullet journal, I can change it for something else, and they're not dependent on each other finishing at the same time. I found this combination, this journaling ecosystem, if you will, it's really me at my most functional, my most productive, my most creative. This combo helps my brain work. And to be able to have the flexibility of changing it in and out of an external cover, it saves the hassle of having loose notebooks everywhere. It's just good. It works for my brain. Sometimes I do write in journals that are way too big or way too small for Snark. So what I do is I sometimes put in maybe my sketchbook, or I also have a reading journal. I pop them in the back. And the great thing about it is if I don't like it, I can swap it out again. There's so much flexibility. At first, I did find it hard to journal in Snark. When all the notebooks were in there, like it was very thick and hard to write on my desk. Like I couldn't quite work out how to do it ergonomically. I've since gotten a lot better at that. It's a lot easier now. Nothing's really changed in Snark. I think it's just the way that I write. I currently carry a Pilot friction pen on my Snark. When I first got the notebook, I heavily envisioned that this would always be a fountain pen on this pen loop, and it was for a few years. Originally, I did write a lot with my Pilot Metropolitan, which is still a pretty good pen. It's just a really thin nib that hurts my wrist, so I don't write with this very often. Where is it? I then swapped to writing pretty consistently with my Platinum Preppy, which fit really nicely in the pen loop. But as you can see, it no longer has the sticky outie bit to stick into the pen loop. When I was using this as my wallet, I got it out to pay at Woolies, and the pen got caught, it fell out, it smashed on the floor, I lost the pen loopy bit, and so now I'm stuck with this, and it doesn't fit in anymore. I've thought about carrying my Lamy in here, but alas, she does not fit. So I've landed on the pilot friction, just because I feel like I'm not worried about banging this thing around. Like, if it breaks, it's replaceable. It's not like a fountain pen. It's also really smooth and easy to get in and out of the pen loop. I love it. It's what I use in my bullet journal to write down all my tasks and stuff. If I'm traveling or journaling on the go, I will usually just bring a pencil case with my fountain pens in them. Another thing that I was expecting to do was, again, use this as my wallet. I did for a while, and it was fine. It did the job. But eventually, okay, the thing about Snark is he's robust. He can get very chunky. He's a big boy. So multiple notebooks together all at once gets very heavy. I do still carry Snark around most of the time because I just like the comfort of having it with me. But for the most part, if I'm going somewhere like the shops or going for a walk, running errands, I can't be bringing this massive thing around with me. So that's why I have abandoned Snark as a wallet, and I just use a normal wallet now. This wasn't what I envisioned happening, and I'm kind of bummed because I did get these pockets specifically for that purpose. But thinking about it now, I think it would be very easy to transform this section into something more practical. I could store stickers or sticky notes, stuff like that in here. I think there's a big question of, will I ever retire Snark? Will I ever completely abandon this system for something else? And my answer is, I don't think so. I think the flexible nature of Snark has allowed me to stay consistent with it over many years. I've had him for 5 years, but there have been months at a time where I just haven't used it, where I've just had my bullet journal separate, my journal separate, and gone about things normally. Especially when I'm traveling, I will not bring Snark with me. I will just bring my journal. I don't need my bullet journal and my wallet. But there is something so practical, something so enticing about this structure, about being able to rearrange and refresh constantly, that means Snark can never get old. I can see myself, even if I maybe don't keep my journals in here in the future, I think this can become a really good home base for work. I'm studying to become a teacher, and I can see myself having my teacher bullet journal, my personal bullet journal, stuff like that in here as sort of like my home base for keeping organized. I could even just put my sketchbook and my reading journal in here. Like, there's so much that I can do that means Snark can never be useless. That being said, there are some things I look back on that I could have done differently. Getting a Chic Sparrow notebook at 17 was definitely a very big treat. During lockdown, I fell in love with this YouTuber, Adventure Denali. She has so much content about travelers' notebooks and Chic Sparrows, plus so much more. But I'll link some of her journaling content down below because I think her videos are a really useful resource to see lots of different types of travelers notebooks that you could possibly get. But yeah, I just watched her videos and fell in love with the Chic Sparrow Travellers Notebook. I think if I was approaching it now, I would have done a lot more research into the different kinds of notebooks. That doesn't mean I'm not happy with my Chic Sparrow. I think it's one of the best you can get. Honestly, I'm so happy with it. But coming from a budget perspective, right now it's not something I could necessarily splash the cash on. So if I were approaching it now, I'd definitely be looking at some more affordable options. Again, I'll have some different brands linked below. Another thing that I kind of regret, I don't know if regret's the right word, because I'm really happy with the A5 size. Like, this was the right size for me to get because I love A5 notebooks. I don't really write in anything else. But going back to what I was saying about the heaviness of it, there's something so attractive to me about a pocket-sized traveler's notebook. Like having a little planner, a little bullet journal, plus a little commonplace book in the one little notebook that I can put in my pocket or throw in my tote bag really easily, and I don't have to worry about the weight of it, is really cool to me. I think if I were to invest in another traveler's notebook product, I would probably go to this size. But again, I see that happening very far in the future because I'm very happy with the system I have now. So yeah, I think if you want a traveler's notebook, you should be considering the following things: your budget, and then within that, what's the best product you can get for your price range? What size do you want? Do you want a big one? Do you want a little one? This is important. This is important. I know Chic Sparrow does this, some other companies might as well, but there's a lot of flexibility around which pockets you have on the inside, whether or not you have a pen loop, whether or not you get something embossed on the back if you want to. It might even be worth trying a cheaper option to see if you like it, to see if you like the swapping out of the notebooks. There has been a big boom in journaling online recently, especially with the journaling ecosystem, all of that stuff. I've seen lots of companies come out with travelers notebooks as a result of this big journaling boom. My friend at the moment, she's writing in a traveler's notebook from Officeworks. I think it was like $15, but it really does the job. It looks so chic and clean and perfect. It really suits her, and she's able to put in the notebooks that she wants exactly like Snark. It does the exact same thing. So yeah, if you're curious, maybe look at some of these cheaper options to try out first to see if it's something that you like. I have another friend who has just like a piece of leather that she got around her notebooks, but she modded it to make it more like a traveler's notebook. Get crafty with it. Maybe you can make one yourself at home. Looking at this now, like, it's not the sturdiest of things, but I feel like you could even crochet a traveler's notebook. Obviously, it's not the same sturdiness as leather, but this is pretty durable. It's lasted a few years. Okay, let's put Snark back together. Okay, there you have it. There he is. I'm so happy with him 5 years on. I'm so happy that I went out on a whim and got this. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave them down below. If you guys like journaling content, writing content, a bit of music, please feel free to subscribe and stick around. Yeah, I hope your January is going very well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.